The best music for hard-working people. Get the job done with Radio.
And now your featured presentation.
Hey there, rockers! Welcome to Bands, the good, bad, and the ugly, with Dr. Dawg. On the show where we get real about the ups and downs of band life. Your host, Dr. Dawg, is locked and loaded. So let's do this.
one and only Dr. Dawg here, welcoming you to Bands. The good, bad, and the ugly. Bringing you the ins and outs, ups and downs of band life. So let's get to it. Let's rock and roll.
The song you just heard was Willing by Tension Splash. And the doctor's guests tonight are Tension Splash. Guys, how you doing?
Doing great.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Great to be here.
Great. It's great to have you guys here. So why don't you introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about Tension Splash.
You guys want me to start this?
You go for it, Gandalf.
All right. Well, my name's Gray Modsinger. As you've been hearing, they call me Gandalf. I live out here in Milo, Michigan, just shy of Ann Arbor. And what was the question when we started Tension Splash? What made us do this?
Well, just tell us a little bit about yourselves, Gandalf. How Tension Splash came to be and so on and so forth.
Well, a little bit about myself is from like 1974 when I bought my first Kiss album. I never wanted to do nothing else. And I guess I met these guys around the end of 92, 93 era. And we formed this band. And within weeks, we was pretty well knocking out what I considered some of the best music I'd ever done. And then we just progressed into being what the ideal of a rock and roll band would be and just have the greatest time of our lives. And ending result, some great music that we can legacy on.
Well,
so,
I got to say, you have great music to be legacy about. So that's phenomenal. So who's next?
Well, we'll just pick up there. Hey, I'm Sean, and I was a drummer. I'm the drummer in Tension Splash. As Gray was saying, we kicked it all off in the early mid 90s, made an album, had a little success, had a hell of a lot of fun, did a second album, and, kind of life moved on in the later 90s, people getting married, having kids, getting different jobs. And, we put Tension Splash aside for a long time, and coming back to it in the last few years has been pretty amazing. Never really thought we'd get the chance to be doing this, doing things like talking to you, getting our music out there. So we got a couple new songs out this year, and it's got amazing reaction, and it's been pretty incredible to just be Tension Splash again.
That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. And Doctor definitely can relate to life, how it goes, and the band has to kind of be put on hold a little bit, and then we all come back around. But it's phenomenal to see you guys have rejoined back together. So Nick, tell us.
My name's Nick Field. I live in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And like Sean and Gandalf said, all of this kicked off in about 1992, I think. And it was the most exciting thing I think that ever happened to me. I've spent my whole life in music, and Tension Splash is definitely the music that meant the most to me and that I'm most happy with. And I'm super excited to keep making music with Tension Splash. So I'm looking forward to what comes next.
That's phenomenal. I mean, all three of you guys are sitting there with big grins on your faces with when each other is talking, because I can just tell the passion you have. So reflecting on the passion you guys have, going back and reflecting on the journey so far, okay, and you guys since 92, how has being in a band changed you, shaped or altered your lives as either individuals or as the band itself?
Well, you can clearly see I never grew up. I've never left, stop doing it, I should say. Tension Splash, when we went into the little, pause that we were in until we got back to doing what we're doing now. I continued playing, in other bands, a little bit of this and that, up until the point where I'm at now with me and my son, who was a key reason too of bringing back this Tension Splash stuff. Me and him have our own little crazy outlaw country Southern fried rock outfit we run around play shows with. So, I've never gave up. So doing what we did then is just basically was just another part of the whole factor that I was a ruined human being since 1974. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, it was just who I was going to be. But Tension Splash pretty well shaped the better side of my musical ability and turned me into the actual stronger musician that I am today. I mean, there was like a couple bands prior that was good stepping stones where I was just a guitar player, broke into singing a little bit. But when I joined Tension Splash and became basically a lead singer and a key writer of, you know, the material that we did, it's pretty much what shaped me into, you know, the ability that I have right now.
That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. You remind me of what I believe in, which is the Peter Pan syndrome, which is you never grow up. So,
Exactly.
you know, Gandalf, I looking at you, bud, and talking to you so far, I can definitely tell you're in that syndrome. So tell me, John, what's done it for you?
Well, I mean, being in Tension Splash is something that, you know, has never stopped for any of us. Even when we weren't actually playing music, you know, we get together and we never thought of the band as breaking up. You know, like it's just like a real band of brothers. You know, when we're all in town in Michigan, we just instantly get back together, hang out. And, you know, it's been an important part of my life for sure. Like even through years where, you know, wasn't performing with Tension Splash. So like, that's who I am. You know, I'm the drummer for Tension Splash, and, you know, having that like solid base of like my boys to fall back on and a band to be part of, that just, you know, anchors everything else in your life. Like, you know, bad stuff happens, stuff comes and it goes, and, you know, but you got your boys who got your back, and, you know, that's always felt really good.
I agree 100%. 100%. Nick, tell me.
Yeah, well, Tension Splash is a lot like being in a family. It's like something bigger than any of us individually. I always think of it as like something magical that happened. We all met, and it was just like we all, you know, clicked, and everybody was well suited for the job, and we just had a hell of a time, and we're still having a hell of a time.
That's phenomenal. You know, that really is. I just feel, let's say this, it's going to sound weird, warm and fuzzy when you guys talk about that, because it just reminds me of my band. And so it's really good to hear. And the things that you're saying and looking at you guys, I mean, just looking at you guys, I can just see things are just beaming off of you. So, you know, speaking of beaming, Tension Splash with Firefly.
fools. And all my life, it don't let go of you. No matter the time or what you think you gotta do. On the road, we never wanted to end, but you never will a knife against yourself or piss into the wind. Looks like the end of the road. Sun coming up. This is as far as I go. That old nightlife, it still don't never end. It's still out there calling to you. No matter what time or the end. And as you go on down that road, two rules still never bend. Never whittle towards yourself. Never piss against the wind.
Great song, guys. Great song. I love your music. So
Appreciate it.
No, you know what? I appreciate it because there's not enough of your type of music out there to enjoy. And I'm going to leave it at that. There's just not enough. I wish you guys all the success, and we'll keep going, but I just wanted to put that in there because you guys are phenomenal. And I'm going to quit talking because Magpie doesn't want me to do that. So anyway, and that was for him. So tell us, what advice can you give aspiring artists, just starting off, that you wish someone had told you way back when?
Well, that's always hard. I like to make jokes about it. I always tell kids, get out of it now. It's always the funny. Or if I got some kid that I'm corrupting, and coaching to start doing music along with my kid, I'll tell his parents, hey, I'm sorry, man, I just ruined your kid. You're never going to be fine. But no, the truth of it is, I like to think I've inspired my own, My kid's took over everything. He's playing the Tension Splash guitar in his own bands right now. He's got 2 separate bands that he plays in besides playing with me. And those kids are always around here. They're always practicing. They're always jamming. And I love to go down to tell them the old day stories and how harder it was to do shit back then as it is. So you guys got it now, you know. But I just, you know, I'm inspired by watching them, and it just lets me go down and go, hey, man, you should try this, or you should do it this way, man, because, you know, there's easier and better routes. But I wish I'd have had, in my life, I had a grandpa, 2 uncles play guitar. That's where I got it from. But they never gave me no like, hey, kid, hit the road, do this. Hey, kid, do that. All I get was, maybe you should try country music, kid. That's where the money's at. You know, but never no like hats on the back or no like forgive me or anything else. It's just, you know, hey, good luck.
Yeah.
You know, hey, join the factory life like the rest of us hillbillies.
Yeah.
But with my kid, I've gave him everything. I said, here it is. Just what you want to do. Find you a girl that'll love you and put up with you, because, you know, that's the only advice I can give you. Because just get out there and do it, man. Because that's the only way you live it, you love it, and you never give up that dream. I always tell them, when you give up dreaming, that's when you're dead.
Yep.
The day you wake up, that's when you get to you're dreaming still. When you quit dreaming, you're dead.
Well, that and when you get to a very old age in life, you look back and say, what if? You know? And if you have those regrets at that age and going, what if, dude, it's past. You know, it's past. So Sean, tell me.
Yeah, one of the things that we definitely learned, you know, when we were young, and I think it's still true now, is that you get back what you put out there in terms of how you interact with other people, other bands, other people in the music business. And, you know, back in the day, it was more a question of, you know, just going to other people's shows and making sure bands who wanted to come play a show in your city had a chance to come play for you, and, you know, just being cool in person. And, you know, now obviously we live in a whole different universe, and, you know, it's a question of Facebook follows and, you know, Instagram and YouTube and Spotify playlists. And, you know, sometimes that stuff is all really superficial. And, you know, for all of us old people, it kind of makes you feel like I miss the old days. But the nice thing is you do actually see that there are people out there that still have that same spirit. That like, it might just be like digital, but they really want to help you out. A band who will like jump in and be like, hey, these guys are awesome. You got to check out their song. Or somebody like you who's doing a show like this. That's like, you know, there's a chance to help people hear good music. And, you know, when you are the kind of people and the kind of band that does that yourself, you tend to find that other people might turn around and do it for you too. Whereas if you're one of those bands that's just going to step on everybody else, you know, you might find eventually you're the ones that get stepped on.
Yep. Nope. I agree. Nick.
To me, I would look at being in a band as just an opportunity to help out the people that you care about, people that make music with you. And I think one of the things that tends to kill bands, especially when they're starting out, is like the ego that tends to go with most musicians. And I think the key is to just give each other the space and to try to be cool to each other and enjoy the friendship that can come with it, which I think is basically what we succeeded on, is always just being cool to each other and liking to hang out with each other and not pushing each other too hard. If you kind of let it happen and don't try to force it, I think that allows it.
Friday night girl nights, Friday night date nights. Take your girls out on Friday nights.
Exactly. You got to leave time for life.
Make sure you got a date night with your girls.
Yeah, no, that's true, because they do not like being ignored. They don't. And so, you know, all three of the advice that you guys have given, you know, I hope the listeners out there, I hope the starting bands that are listening, listen to these guys, because I believe what they're really talking about, bottom line, is that the passion of the music they have, the passion of their music they have, it drives everything. It encourages that bonding. And you guys, again, have a great relationship, and a lot of bands don't have that. And this isn't a question that I was going to ask you, but I'm going to ask you because you guys kind of brought it up for me. And again, Magpie, how do you feel about, I mean, do you really think other bands help you guys out? I know you guys would, 100%. I know you would, but do you feel like there's enough bands helping enough other bands out to achieve the one goal that everybody's out there for, which is to get their music out there? I don't truly believe it. I hear it all the time. I hear people say, oh, we're just one great big family. Oh, fuck that. They're not. It's a bunch of bullshit. Because I look on and I watch who shares, who comments, who likes. I see that stuff on the social media. And, you know, even some of the band's followers and fans, oh, we got this big fan base. Well, where are they? You know, why aren't they helping you guys out? Why aren't you helping others out? And I'm going to quit rambling because Magpie's going to get mad. But I want you to answer that for me. How do you really, truly feel? Don't fluff it up for me. Because you know how I feel. Tell me how you really feel about the independent artist base and saying we help each other out. True or false?
In the gigging world where I'm at today, you know, I'm not playing as much shows like we used to play back in the other day where we swap out shows. Me and my kid go book a place and play 3 hours and then get paid and leave, right? But recently, you know, I fell back into with a group of guys from out the Livonia, Detroit area. And they were running a campsite party, you might call it, basically a big summer fun fest. And inside that community, there's a true brotherhood and a true commitment to helping each other out that reminded me very much of what we had back in the 90s with the situation that we had at the Club of Faith, where there was a good handful of bands, probably like, I would say at least 8 to 10 of us that was committed to doing shows together, helping each other out, promoting each other's albums and each other's, you know, stuff. Now, I've also seen the whole dickheaded moves where you show up somewhere and somebody's a complete asshole to you. They don't want to share shit with you. They want to make sure, you know, it's a pain in the ass. They don't give you no shit on the stage. You know, I've seen both sides of it. In those kind of scenes, I do my best to ignore it so I don't turn into that same asshole because I could. I'm a scrapper. I'd easily fight in a heartbeat over some stuff like that. So I try not to, you know?
No.
But recently, like I said, that whole scene, me and my kids done 10 years of summer shows with these metal bands, dude. They're hardcore metal bands. We go out there as a country cover band with outlaw country songs, ridiculous punk rock cover songs. And they loved us and accepted us. We wanted to become the headliner of the damn party. And they're calling us now and booking shows with us now. We just got through playing the Blind Pig, an old place where we used to play it all the time. Me and my kid got to, you know, do it, you know, the whole thing we've been dreaming is play the pig stage together. And it was through these guys. So the community's there if you know cats. I understand there's dickheads out there, but if you know cats, and if you build that real respect with cats, that you know, you give them what they're giving you, hey, it can be found still.
No, it can be. And when you're in that circle, though, Gandalf, you guys are playing together in that circle. What about all the support and the fan base and the followers and all the friends and everything that's on the internet?
Yeah.
Well,
that's a totally different scene because when you're with people personally, like Gandalf, you and your son are, you build a bond with other musicians. Out in the digital world, there is no freaking bond other than words, you know, and maybe sharing some songs. So the digital world versus the real world is black and white. It's night and day.
Exactly.
So
the digital world has been 50-50 my whole life anyhow. I was one of the guys that was a skeptic about the whole digital world and the whole aspect of the internet taking over our planet, such as a spider web would, you know.
Yeah.
I always been that kind of cat. You know, I'm not the big digital guy of our band, actually. You know, it takes me a few minutes to figure out how to work technology and even how to get on my phone.
Me too. I'm raising my hand. Shit. So,
you know,
Sean,
our digital footprint right now is surprising to me because I've never done nothing to do, you know, to do part of that. So I don't hear the bad stuff of it or the good stuff of it. I just get to what Shawnee tells me, hey, this looks great. And I go, I'm 100% behind you.
well, you know, Gandalf, I don't think you'd give a shit one way or the other. I don't think you'd give a shit one way or the other what was said or anything else. So knowing you so far, I'd say, fuck, you don't care. So
Now,
Sean or Nick, both of you guys, fill me in and fill us in on the question I asked about your digital fan base, family, so-called, if it exists. And I'm not saying it doesn't, but the doc's real skeptic. And I think a lot of people I talk with are full of shit. So tell me.
I nominate Sean to talk about this because in the last few months, I think Sean has put a lot of energy into kind of building an online community. So I think he should tackle this one. Sean, what do you say?
Yeah, I'll jump in. I mean, I totally know what you mean, Dr. Dawg, and I agree. Like, we're all old guys and we all miss the pre-internet world, but we're stuck with it now. And, it's hilarious to think about me being the one that's doing digital stuff for a band, because anybody who knows me would be like, Sean's doing that? That dude just got a smartphone 2 years ago. But in answer to your question, it's true that it's all pretty superficial. You're never going to get that sense of connection, no matter how cool somebody tries to be online. And a lot of the stuff that people do, even if they're being nice, like just, clicking on something, just clicking a follow or something, doesn't really do all that much for anybody. So, I agree with you. But at the same time, it probably has something to do with what kind of expectations you go in with. Because we had zero expectations. And all we were trying to do at first was just, we had this new music out and we just wanted anybody to hear it. We were just thinking, all right, for whatever the 21st century is, there's a chance for people all over the world to hear our music that they couldn't do in the 90s. In the 90s, somebody would write us a little letter saying, we like your band. We'd put a cassette back in the envelope, write them a letter in crayon and mail it to them. That's how hard it was to get somebody to hear your music if they didn't live in your city,
Yep.
No, what the hell? We check our Spotify stats and we're there's 50 people listening to us in Germany and 50 people listen to us in the UK. And that feels good. And, when I'm out there, just dealing with other bands online, I'm just looking really quick that some of those bands are super cool. Maybe they're not going to do that much for us, but at least they interact like nice people. They give you a compliment. They pass something on. They tell their followers, you got to check this band out. And as soon as I notice one of those bands like bingo, all right, you're on my list of bands that we want to work with and we want to stay up with. And, especially if they happen to be super good bands, if the music's awesome and they're also good guys or good people, women or men, you're like, all right, these are our people. I want to do everything I can to help this band out. And most of the time, if you do that, you go out of your way a little bit, you're like, I didn't have to do this, but I posted something saying you got to check out this new song by this band. They're fantastic. Then, that does tend to come around to you a bit. Maybe not like in the old days, but you got to make your choices and present yourself the way you want to be seen. And it does come back to you to some degree.
No, and you're right. And I do so much actually loving comments and sharing for bands because I love music and I love all genres. I love the fact the artists are putting out something. So I don't look at any artist and say, well, you suck, or I don't like your music, or I don't like that genre. I just appreciate the art they're putting out. And I can already tell, and I think the listeners can so far, about the passion you have. I've never once during it, and we're only, halfway through, but never once heard you guys say something about fame, record deal, we're going for this, we're going for that. The only thing I've ever heard is we just want to get our music out so people can hear it. And I got 50 here, I got 50 here. Said if I got 500 here, I got 1,000 here, I got 10,000 here. Bullshit. You guys are honest, and it wasn't and you said, man, I'm happy for that. Most would say, oh shit, there's only 50 people listening to us. Oh shit, that's not good. And you guys are looking at it totally the way you should look at it, as a band, as musicians, as artists. Exactly the way you should look. And damn, that's something that I don't think a lot do. And talking about damn, here's one spinning at you is I'll Be Damned by Tension Splash. Doctor likes that one. That's a good one.
I'll make sure we put that one in there for you.
Cool. Well, that's what I had there, Gandalf. That's what I had. Okay. So tell us what the future brings for you guys. Any new projects coming out? I know you just said you released some tracks. Any new tracks coming out? Anything you see in the future?
Hang on, I'm gonna get somebody in here. Where the boy? Hey, boy! Get in here. What? Any future stuff involves this cat here, my son. I'm gonna bring him in.
Get him in here, Gandalf.
Because the only cat.
Hey,
how you doing?
Hello, everybody.
How you doing, bud?
Good. How are you?
This would be the only cat that'd ever be able to step in and back up old brother Hatcheck on bass. He knows all the Hatcheck parts on bass already down to a T.
Yeah.
Actually, he knows my guitar and Nick's guitar parts too. And if he really wanted to, he could probably play Sean's drum parts too. So,
well, that's phenomenal. He's been very talented, and that's something that definitely impresses the doc, and I know it impresses a lot of people that when somebody can multi-instrument and be that good,
Thank you.
So,
he in two bands right now. He in the band Anonymous and another band Asphalt Flowers. So he's rocking it. He guitars one, he bass plays in the other. So he's rocking it. But he was a key issue of getting this whole project up off the ground. I never wanted to die and leave my kid cassettes. So I got with Hatcheck. Hatcheck dumped me the reels. We took the reels back to the studio. We ran them through a special situation and got the original tracks all cleaned up. And him and Tim Padlin did a bunch of work to make all the original songs sound great. And that's when we found those other tracks that had been sitting there unfinished, you see. Grayson got in there, did some mixing. Him and Padlin went back and forth on it, how they would really want him to sound, but they wound up getting the best 90s sound out of it you could possibly get. So he was a key factor to this. And we're sitting on a couple of little more gems that we got to still work on. So me and him's got this at home right now that we're kind of, going back and forth on deciding if we got to add more guitar or not. We definitely got to write another lyric or two for, and some stuff like that going on. So the future of that right now is to try to get the last part of what we got finished up and done so we can get like an actual 4-song EP of the backside of Soak that we never finished up out there in a whole complete form. I believe that's what we're working on, right, boys?
Yeah, maybe going back and filling in a few of the details would be good for the listeners there. So you notice that, there's only 3 of us old guys here. So our bass player, Mike Birch, who's universally known as Hatcheck, unfortunately he passed away in 2020. Is a great guy, just died way too young. And that was part of the spur of like getting us back into the studio was, we'd actually already, as Gray was saying, we already had worked with Tim Padlin's a fantastic producer here in Michigan, works with Sponge and some other big bands. And he had like helped us get the tracks, up and running. Grayson was working with him. We got these great, new digital mixes, got everything out there on Spotify. And unfortunately that's about when Mike passed away. And we had these like 3 or 4 more tracks sitting there that had never been finished, but they already had Mike's bass was already on it, So partly it was like to honor him and because we love him and miss him, that's what spurred us to get back in and to finish up the couple of songs you already played, Willing and Firefly. Like those are brand new tracks in a sense, but they're also stuff that's been sitting around for quite a while that need to be finished up. And so, Gray was in there working on vocals, and we were working with Padlin and with Grayson on arrangements and mixes, and getting those 2 things out has been amazing for us. And at the time, like we weren't really sure it was going to work at all. Like we were just like trying to see if we could do it. And so like when Firefly came together and Grayson did a great final mix on that, we just put it out. Like we just thought we can't wait. Like we're old and one of us is already dead, and who knows? Like let's not wait and try to get the whole EP out. Let's just put it out there.
Grayson's not happy though. He wanted to remaster that and put that back out.
Yeah, so when we finish up the remaining songs and get that whole EP out, hopefully next summer, like maybe it'll be a little bit going back those 2 songs you already played, Firefly, Willing. Maybe those will get a little bit of a different mix and remaster and kind of finalize those. But that's kind of the story of how we got to the point we're at now, and definitely what we want to do next is get that EP finished up and get a few more songs out there to the world.
That's great. I mean, and sometimes those songs that have been sitting around. Could be for years, turn out to be some of the best songs you'll ever do. And, the new technology out there definitely can help bring new life to some of the stuff that was done back in the day. And that's the good thing about it. But I still love a band that can get out and play and sound just like they did on a digital version live. That I love more than anything. And I don't think a lot of bands can do that nowadays because there's just too much processing and EQs and running through too much technology. And that's why I think truly, and I'll say it, I don't think a lot of bands tour or get out and play live because I don't think they could do it. I really don't. So, but anyway, tell the doc and the listeners, what's some of the biggest misconceptions people have about being in a band and being an independent artist in a band?
Well, shit, man. People forget we're still real people. We're not like rock stars. We're not rich. Hell, we're broke. We got real jobs, we're slinging pizzas, burgers, car parts, whatever it takes. You're working a regular gig, man, to pay to go do this dream of yours, people just think that you just stumbled into this and, you got all this stuff laying around and this shit was free. Well, hell no, man. It all costs money. It's, the transportation, the booking, the working with people, the late nights, everybody thinks it's like, nice, and easy peasy, and then the whole time everybody thinks it's, well, hell, we can show up to this show or not show up to this show. It's no big deal because, we can see you the next time. Well, hell, you may not never be in next time. You never know what's going on. People always take the misconception of music and an indie band and a guy. I tell you, I was, take this for example. I'm shooting darts in the 8-ball. It's the bar underneath the Blind Pig. Shooting darts, losing the dartboard. Take a chance to walk upstairs just to see who's playing. Guess who it is? It's Nirvana. It's 1989. You know what I'm saying? Here's your misconception. People just don't understand that somebody busting their ass to make it happen. Yep. Everybody just thinks this is a freebie. You're automatically a rock star. You're automatically making money. No. I'm a broke ass deadbeat, man. Luckily, if I'm making ends meet, to buy strings to play the show tonight, you know?
Yep. Nick, what do you think?
I kind of like what Gandalf was saying. I think people assume that it's a good time all the time and that it's easy peasy and it just comes naturally, but you got to spend your life on this kind of stuff. If you want to make a band happen, you got to put in the time and you got to exercise an awful lot of practice and patience and all sorts of stuff. And eventually, you'll have some music to show for it, but it doesn't just pop up. It's not like just being so, musically talented. The music just happens by itself. You got to make it. And I think that's what people don't know is how much time you have to spend behind the scenes actually building the music and polishing it and putting an act together. And, being able to go out and play a set is a pretty tall order. You actually got to you got to put in the work to do that.
Yep. 100%.
Coordinators in this shit.
Yeah.
No Disney money in this.
No. Sean, what do you think?
One of the things you're thinking about is when you're starting a band and you're in your early mid-20s, you never think about what would this be like 30 years from now? Because you don't think you'll be alive 30 years from now. And who cares about 50-year-olds anyway? They're all a bunch of idiots. But some bands have trouble, even if they're, good musicians and stuff, they have trouble kind of keeping it together for lots of reasons, personal reasons and stuff. But one of the things that really works for Tension Splash is we got this vocalist Gandalf who's got this amazing voice. And he's got that gravelly voice. So it was great when he was young and it's better now that he's 50. It's you think about those singers from the 70s with the high voices who are amazing singers and you love their stuff. And boy, those guys struggle when they're 55. They're people are paying money to see them on stage. And they're ooh, this guy really cannot hit those notes anymore. And it's not their fault. It's just that style doesn't work. But you got the Gandalf vocals up there. They just get better all the time. Think how good he's going to be when he's 70.
He's in my prime.
Yeah.
All right, Sean, tell me, because you opened up the door. Who are you talking about? Oh, come on, tell me that.
Actually, some of my very favorite bands are those bands from the 70s. Honestly, this is not to. It's far from insulting. So, my favorite band growing up was Triumph, and Rick Emmett had the most amazing voice, just a gift from God with just an angelic voice. and he still has a great voice, but he would be the first. He doesn't actually perform anymore. Unlike a lot of those guys, he like hung it up a few years ago when he really felt like he couldn't hit those notes anymore. But he'd be the first to tell you, like, you know, by your 50s, you're like tuning the guitar down, and then you're changing the key of songs. And, you know, eventually, like, you just can't hit those notes anymore. And it's not because you're out of shape or it's your fault or anything. It's just the human body can't do it. So like, he's actually joked about, he's like, why did I write those songs where I sang like a chipmunk? If I'd been thinking ahead, I would have done nothing but like low blues songs. And I could have kept doing it in my 70s.
I really thought you were talking about, and I won't say the name, but VN. Okay, VN, if you know who I'm talking about, makes me want to puke, okay, when I watch it nowadays, because it's like, what the freaking hell are you saying? Have no freaking idea, but I know what I'm saying, because here's Tension Splash with Cecil and Stella.
Vince Neil. I said,
Oh, what did you say? I didn't say it. Oh shit, Gandalf, shit. That's okay. You know what? Because we can say whatever the fuck we want to say. So tell us about what Gandalf? What are you gonna say?
I said it was the internet, right? We can get away with this shit, right? Who the hell cares?
No, I know. I didn't want to be that cruel, but you know what? He deserves it. That's all I can say. And I'm not gonna say what was the name, Gandalf?
Oh, Vince Neil.
Yeah, thank you. So, given the rock and stall lifestyle that often leads, okay, to epic parties, and you know what goes along with those epic parties is the drugs, the sex, and of course, rock and roll is always there. So, open up the doors and the cabinets to the doc, and tell me about experiences you guys have had. And I know you guys go back into the 90s, so you can't tell me, well, we don't have any, because I'm only like 20 years old. Bullshit. So open up those and let me know, and the listeners know. And this is going to go for all three of you, so you better be sitting there thinking. I'm going to start with Mr. Gandalf, since he's sitting there grinning and sitting there trying to think about how many ones he got to go through to tell me. So
Yeah, millions of them.
I know they are, Gandalf. That's what I just said. I know you got like billions, but so give me the most epic one that suits it.
Most epic one. One of our most epic ones, boys. Which was it? Should we go Marquette? Should we go? I mean, we've had too many damn good times.
Well, whatever you don't pick, Gandalf, they will. Okay, so you take yours, and then Sean and Nick's going to give me theirs.
I think the whole 1990s basically was the party that was why we should divide it up into specific nights and things like that. It just kept going.
We didn't miss many chances on having a good time. I'll put it that way. Now we stayed generalized, keeping these guys from getting fired from their real jobs. I could care less about mine. But, I mean, we didn't do nothing that that we got to worry about prison time or anything. We just had a damn good time. But I guess one epic time, we loaded up. We hooked up with a band and friends of ours from the Mount Pleasant area. These guys who grew up with a couple of these guys from Mount Pleasant or from UP area. We rented a van. We stopped and played Mount Pleasant, and then we went up to Marquette and played 2 nights. And this bar had booked us like we were a cover band. And we told them we wasn't a cover band. That's why we were bringing our friends, man. We played our own stuff and maybe a cover song or two. And we get out there, and the first night we play, we let them guys go on first, and we go on next. And we knocked the power out the place, cleared the whole bar. And then they got us a hotel down the street. We go back to the hotel, drink, party all night, get up the next day, go to the grocery store in town, buy $180 worth of booze. The little girl couldn't even sell it to us. She had to get her manager. We proceed to go ahead and continue this rock and roll party all day Saturday, and then we go back and play the bar again Saturday night. And they told us we didn't have to because we already, pissed them off the first night. But we said, no, we're going to go ahead and play. We come back the next night, and we got it stacked now. We got UP friends of ours there the next night. So next night we got it stacked. And we go on first, and I get up there and I announce that we're playing a Ted Nugent song for every song. And we're just playing our own songs. The night's going great. We get done, we partied all night, had a blast, rock and roll lifestyle to the tops. I mean, we took over this whole hotel, man. We just took the whole place over with nonsense. They tried to shut us down all night, and we wouldn't shut down. We just kept partying. Got up next morning, loaded all up, drove back home. A week later, we get a postcard from these fools from that hotel telling us we ain't got to come back to Marquette no more. Rock and roll, baby. Rock and roll.
Rock and roll. Sean, pop it to me.
Man, I wish we still had that letter there. This is hotel owners wrote this handwritten letter, like telling us what jerks that we were, And they were kind of right. We were a little out of hand there, but Tension Splash was never really, as far as the drug, sex, and rock and roll goes. We were all either married or about to get married or had steady girlfriends. We actually weren't the ones out there really chasing women around. Gray's wife's probably there, I think, somewhere in the background there. So
we were filming us.
She knows that's true. But definitely in terms of just having a good time, we were living that lifestyle. Like when we first got together, Nick and I lived in a house in Ann Arbor, and the band practiced in the basement. So like there wasn't really any division between like practice, party, life, hanging out. We'd had our day jobs, and then we just show up. If we didn't have a gig, we just, grab the instruments, go downstairs. Like sometimes it'd be serious, rehearsal and practice, we'd be working something, or sometimes we'd be writing new material or whatever. And other times it's just like, kind of giant party all night. And, that's just kind of the lifestyle we were living. So like, then we'd have a gig Friday, Saturday, just kind of move it down the road to whatever club we were playing and just let the party roll on a little bit. And, those were great times. The fact is that you can't do that forever if you don't want to die real young, or, ruin your life somehow. You got to, kind of call a little bit of a limit to what you do when you're young.
Yep.
But I don't regret any of it. We had a lot of fun.
That's great. Nick, tell me.
Yeah, I think these boys nailed it. Basically, we lived this lifestyle that just kept it simmering the whole time, and we tried not to let it boil over. But we lived that life all day long. We had all these things we had to do in the day, but we knew we were going to get together in the evening, and so it was just kind of a night after night thing. And we would just live music and partying and just try not to let it get out of hand. And sometimes it would, and try to just keep it within the boundaries.
That's good. I mean, at least you guys did that.
Even if the boundaries meant licking Kool-Aid off your hand and chasing it with two fingers tequila.
Gandalf, I know you didn't stay in the boundaries. I know that you pushed those boundaries like a rubber band, but
I still do.
I know. I don't doubt it one bit, But let's go deep with Deep Down by Tension Splash.
one of the first ones we wrote.
Really?
Yeah.
Great song. That's a great song. So all bands go through highs and lows, okay? And even really dark times. And so tell the doctor about your lowest point, and this could be kind of a two-part, whether it's the lowest point you had as an individual, as far as music's concerned. Other than that, that's all we want, because I don't want to bring no personal stuff into it, but the lowest point you come in with as either personal or as the band itself. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, shit, we can all agree on that. We've all got to that point where age is, an actual thing to us and shit, and it hit us. We lost one.
Yep.
You get a phone call one morning that one of your best boys has died,
I know.
Chokes me up still. But, that's the lowest point of anything in our lives as far as knowing each other, band-wise. That's it. There's nothing else we can say. There's never been no point where somebody was so fucked up or addicted that was a low point in our life. There was never no point in our band relationship where one another hated each other. There was a fight going on. There really wasn't even no bullshit drama at all. The lowest thing we ever hit was a couple years ago, phone call hitting you that we're going to have to figure out how to bury Hatcheck, he's our age, 55. Yeah. He'd beat me. He'd be 56 this year come January, and I'll be chasing his ass down in February. And he'd be picking me up here about 4:00 in the afternoon on his birthday in a goddamn limousine, taking me to some expensive concert. And, we'd be drinking all night and having a goddamn blast. That'd be Hatcheck. But we don't get those moments no more. So that's the lowest.
Yeah. And I can tell, Gandalf, it really still at this time touches you to a lot of feeling that way. And believe me, again, the doctor can relate, and it's hard. And
well,
you never forget. You never forget.
I was with him the most during the last part of his life. And goddamn, you love the son bitch, but he's a type of dude that could drive you crazy at times. Drive you crazy to the point of you could do nothing but love him, even though he was about to send you to the point of break, And he, like I said, this would be the kind of stuff he would do to you. It'd be like, I'm taking down a Christmas tree. Next thing he's calling me, I'll be at your house in 15 minutes in a limousine. We're going out. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? It's 4:00 in the afternoon on Sunday, jackass, But I mean, it was at the time, this is shit you take for granted. We talk about what we were going to do with this stuff. That's when he brought me those reels, I'm like, let's get back in. We'll get this fixed up. We're going to find those songs and all that. We talk about that. You think it's going to be, achievable at any time you want. And you just take it for granted at the time that you should have been doing it right now. You should have jumped at the chance when you had a chance.
Yep.
Instead of doing it without his ass, because he was there when we mixed the stuff down. And when he heard those 3 tracks again, he lit up like the rest of us did. So we should have seized that shit right then. Yep. Instead, we dicked around and waited for another year and, damn, he's dead.
Yep.
He didn't go in there and finish that shit. He didn't need to go in there and see the amazing work that he did and get to hear that bass line again, through those studio speakers blowing like we did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, lowest point ever for any of us, and I'm sure they're all going to agree, is just that. Hell, we never had no low points in this band until that shit happened. Other than just basically going, hey, it's 1997, we got to get real jobs. Because we ain't going to be able to play a gig every goddamn week, And that was a low point too, but growing up's growing up.
Yeah. Yeah. Sean, you want to add something?
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that's the story. I won't repeat what Gray said, but if you want to talk about the ways that when something that dark happens, how do you come back from it? And of course, one level you can't come back from it because Hatcheck isn't coming back, and we'll never get to sit around and hang out with him again. But when we're in the studio working on this stuff, the great thing is there's his bass. It's like he's in the room with us. Yes. You're in his little studio space. Yes. And it's the same studio we recorded it in, and it just felt like he was right in the room with us. And he's a fantastic bass player, absolutely first rate. And, going back and working with those tracks that, had been recorded long ago, and like hearing what he had done, you're listening to him again and you're like, damn, that's some fine bass playing. Like he's doing some unexpected, interesting things, not just like a guy who's going to hold down the root note of every chord. Like he really got some interesting bass stuff. And then working with what's there, it was kind of as though like, he's still part of the process because we had to like engage with what he played. And like, not to sound too soft-hearted about the whole thing, but like every single time I hear these tracks, like, on a radio show like yours, or, somebody's playing it on, internet radio or whatever, like, I just think, hey, like maybe Hat Check can hear that somewhere, like crank that up. Like we play it loud enough, you might just catch a little sound of that somewhere. So like we think about him all the time. That's for sure.
He's hearing it. He's there with you guys. You know that. Gandalf knows that. And
hanging behind me, man, some girl painted that for him, and he was supposed to get it before he died, and he dies. Next thing you know, they bring it to me. What am I supposed to do with this picture? We're bringing it to you. So now here I got this goofball's picture hanging on my wall with the Birch family symbol on it, middle of my goddamn living room.
Well, that's love, Gandalf. And I know again he's with you guys. He's with you guys. Nick, did you want to add anything before we go on to something else, bud?
No, we all miss Hat Check. I listen to Tension Splash just to feel like I'm with Hat Check sometimes. He lives in the music, and just a fantastic guy.
That's phenomenal, and it's sad, and a lot of bands will continue, but in their hearts and minds, it'll never be the same. It'll be good, but without that one individual that you guys bonded so well with, it's never the same. So, speaking of tragedy and stuff, and I know Gandalf, I think you've already answered this, about your epic wild sides, but, the really tragic side of rock and roll. And, we've lost so many talented artists, to drugs, the dark side where, and I think you've all said it, and I think the listeners listened when you said it, is that we kept it in bounds. And a lot of times when you get into the band scene, the drugs are so prevalent that they're there, and it's hard to escape them. And a lot of times there's individuals that don't escape it because they have that addictive personality. And some do, some don't. Okay. It doesn't mean they're bad or good, or it's good or bad. It's just that's their personality. So tell the doctor about that. I mean, you guys come across that yourselves, somebody that somebody and no names or nothing has to be given, but just an experience that said, yeah, this really rocked my world, or I never thought this guy or person would do this.
Well, we ran with a thick scene during that time. And I mean, at the 90s era, that's when that whole scene rebroke. I mean, people went from just casual drinking and cocaine in the 80s, like I always say, I gave up bad haircuts and cocaine in the 80s, in the 90s, I'm standing in an espresso Royale drinking cappuccinos and smoking reefer again, And, but we ran, with that whole scene during that time, especially in Ann Arbor. It was a pretty, decent underground punk rock scene there, where some of them picked back up into the heroin scene. So that stuff was around us and we seen it. It was never attracted to us, I was the type of dude, like, heroin's the same as walking in front of a bus. You got about that same much survival rate.
Yep.
Plenty of rock stories show that shit don't work.
Yep.
But we had friends that dabbled and friends that got in it. And fortunately, as far as I know, most of them survived and are still alive. I mean, I hadn't kept base with everybody, so I can't really say no if everybody survived that era and got themselves clean. But the most of the ones that were truly that I knew that were effed up for a minute during that time, playing with the bigger shit, got themselves out of it and somehow managed to find life again and live in success somewhere else in the life,
That's great.
I don't know, and dabble with it would have been me. I got busted back in the 90s for growing reefer, right? So I got wrapped up, spent a little time doing that back and forth, blah, blah, blah. No big deal. I was a part of trying to get that shit legal in Michigan, and now it is legal in Michigan.
Yep.
So back and thumbs up for that.
Yep.
But you know, the rest of the stuff we really wasn't that concerned with. You know, we didn't have no tragic stories inside of our own deal, other than just, you know, occasionally drinking too much and have to worry about that the next morning. You know, or you know, a good mushroom story gone bad. You know, something like that. You know, blowing a tweet up out in the middle of the courtyard, some stuff like that. You know, harmless stuff, harmless dosage stuff. You know,
Right. Well, that was the 80s, that was the 90s, and you know, it's changed so drastically and tragically now.
There's too much stuff these days that is far out of the hands and out of control of people that get their hands into it, I should say. I mean, you know, the drugs these days, they got high power drugs these days that don't add up.
It's death. Know? It's death is what it is. You know, it's death. That people are selling death nowadays, and
exactly.
It's sad. Sean, Nick, you guys have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I'll just add one quick thing is like, you know, one thing like sort of people around you sort of in the scene, and then there'd be other like, you know, band that maybe they have their moment, their song breaks, they get a record deal, they're off on tour. A lot of times that's where you'd see like, oh, how'd those guys do? Like, you know, that sort of be like, ooh, like that tour didn't go good. That, you know, that singer kind of got off track or whatever. And, you know, kind of the fame and the money and, you know, kind of went to their head. And, you know, we definitely, you know, saw some bands like that like they had their little shot and it was too much for them. But, you know, not to change the subject, one thing I wanted to throw in before we end the interview here is like, you know, some people came out of that era doing real good. So like, you know, there was a huge band that came out of Ann Arbor. It was really big in the early 2000s called Taproot. And the first song you played tonight, Willing, has these awesome background vocals from Steve Richards, who's the singer for that band. And like, you know, he's been working real hard, hanging in there, and he just, you know, finished a huge comeback album that's fantastic. Everybody should check it out. And he was in the studio just the same time we were. You know, it's Tim Padlin's studio, The Loft, in Saline, Michigan. And it's just total coincidence. He was just working there by himself. Like he was not acting like a rock star. He's there at like 6 a.m. with a big gulp from 7-Eleven, just working on his tracks. And we came in and, you know, he just hung out all morning and, you know, just kind of, you know, chatted and, you know, hung out with Gandalf. And first thing we know, like he's laying down these, you know, harmony tracks. Like we didn't beg him to do it. We didn't give him any money. He was just like hanging out. And so, yeah, there's a lot of bad, you know, pitfalls, a lot of bad things happen. But even this many years later, like some people are pretty cool and they're just willing to hang in there and help you out. That's phenomenal. That's all old school, guys. And listeners out there, it's all old school.
I impressed him that morning with the little funds. Yeah, might have helped on that impression for him.
Nick, what do you think?
I don't have anything to add for this. I mean, like you said, we kept it all within bounds, and some people didn't keep it in bounds as well. And, you know, I think everybody got a little bit damaged, but if you minimize the damage, you could pull through. Some people did not.
Yep. That's the tragedy, and that's the life. And I hope the listeners and these bands that are starting off, it's all not, you know, drugs, sex, and rock and roll. You can make it that way, but like each of these guys said, it doesn't have a good ending. Okay. And I hope you take their advice about, if you do, keep it in bounds, stay away from the bullshit. You know, it's just only going to be death. But get off that subject, because we're going to go into a Dropping Now by Tension Splash's A.B. Said Tribal Song.
But they cry.
they like that watermelon too.
Doctor loves it, guys. I love it.
There's another one of the first songs we wrote.
Yeah.
You know, there he goes. It tells you again, you know, songs that sit sometimes, songs that don't get completed for a while, come back out to be some of the most phenomenal songs you guys will ever produce. And speaking, you know, phenomenal songs, tell the listeners where they can find your music, any videos, if you have any merchandise. Give us the rundown on where we can find Tension Splash.
John?
Yeah, I'll jump in. Like, you know how it is these days. Just go to Google, type in Tension Splash, and everything will come right up. Spotify, Facebook, YouTube. You can buy us on, Bandcamp, Amazon. We're everywhere you'd expect us to be. And, we don't really have any merch for sale at the moment. Maybe we'll get some out maybe this summer. But at the moment, we're not looking to make, frankly, any money. You want to get our stuff on Bandcamp, it's free. Like, you want to listen on Spotify, I guess you got to have a membership, but you can listen to us all you want for free on YouTube. Please do. Just go check out the music. That's what we want.
You heard it, guys. Definitely check them out because they're a phenomenal band with a phenomenal sound. And the doctor definitely prescribes that. That's a prescription I'm going to give. So follow that. And the doctor wants to thank Tension Splash. I want to thank Gandalf. I want to thank Sean. I want to thank Nick for joining the doctor today. Definitely a great interview. I had a blast. I hope to have you guys on again in a different setting or a different subject because it's been a great interview and I've really enjoyed having you guys. So thank you guys so much. Any last closing comments that you want to give?
Well, we just appreciate all this, man. We never thought 30 years down the road from trying to be real rock stars that we'd be out here.
Well, it's been a pleasure, really has. And to me, you guys are rock stars, and people can categorize that any way they want to, but to me, you're true musicians. You're true rock and rollers. I mean, you guys play for the right reasons. You keep producing for the right reasons. If you didn't, you wouldn't be together as long as you have. So the doctor wants to thank you guys for putting out the greatest music. It's just phenomenal. So guys, please check them out. And all the other guys out there, bands and Facebookers and Twitters or whatever else, man, help these guys out. Follow them, share them, boost them, go listen to their stuff. It's all for free. You have nothing to lose. It's free. And it's phenomenal music. It's phenomenal freaking music. So again, the doctor wants to thank Tension Splash. You guys were phenomenal. Also want to put a big shout out to Magpie Sally, MM Radio, Dog Bones Studio, and Matt R., which is my computer tech that keeps me on the air because I'm old school. So until next Friday, guys, be kind to each other. Take care. We're out. Tension Splash.
Peace
awesome
out.
Job. Peace out, guys. Thank you so much.
Doc. Thanks, Doug. Thanks so much.
Oh, you're welcome, guys.
Bands, the good, bad, and the ugly with Dr. Dawg. On MMIMM, the show where we get real about the ups and downs of band life.
To infinity and tastiness with MM Radio.